Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. Always a pleasure to welcome Mary Pat Goki from Frontline Ministries. Good morning.
Good morning, Susie. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for being here.
So glad to be here.
Always so much going on in your life
gosh,
that
I
it was
love
just
coming in and talking to you about
well, it was
whatever
really
the Lord's
time.
doing.
It was time to catch up. Yes,
Absolutely.
and he's doing lots, isn't he?
Is.
My
He
goodness.
is, definitely.
First of all, I'm looking at a letter here that went out to some friends and supporters about happenings in Mozambique. Tell me a little bit, because we know that you've been so active in doing ministry there and around the world.
Yes.
What's happening in Mozambique?
In Mozambique, Africa, which is on the eastern coast, southeastern coast, that place has been ravaged by two major cyclones that hit in March and April, March 13th, I believe, and then the following one was hitting northern Mozambique in April.
So let's back up a minute. So these same people were hit within 30 days. You have one.
One hit in the center of the country, and the other one hit in the north.
So it wasn't the same.
No, it wasn't.
But
the
it was
same
the
people
same.
who ravaged the whole country, though. Yeah.
So yes, it took care of
crazy.
one part and then came back and
Yes.
took care of another part.
And many are saying it's the worst storm ever in the history of the southern hemisphere, and definitely the worst ever in Mozambique, and it touched many countries.
Did we hear about this here in our news?
Yes.
They were
yes.
talking about
There is
Mozambique getting hit.
Absolutely.
So you know people.
We do.
For you, it's personal.
It's personal. We also have a heart for countries in Africa and different places, but we've been traveling and ministering there since 2003. And so we know the ministries there and the boots on the ground, and we come in and help as well. And we are there every summer with missions, and we have land on the sea, and we know people. So yes, to hear this, and we're going back in July 11th, to hear that many of those people may have lost their lives, and so many are displaced. Hundreds of thousands, entire villages have been wiped out by the storm, because both places are on the sea, and just was critical.
And I'm thinking the building as well is not really created as sturdy as it is here to withstand storms.
No, and these people, they have rivers that are nearby, and the rivers are overflowing and flooding, as well as the sea coming in. So it's just total disaster, and there's no warning system, really.
How are they surviving, Mary Pat?
Many of them didn't survive, and those who have survived were trying to climb to high ground and living in trees for days and weeks until someone hopefully will be able to rescue them by boat. And this is Africa. This is not Ohio. So, some of them lost their lives.
Living in a tree.
Yes. And they would need to have some kind of way to be removed from the tree and not to be gruesome. But my reports, what I was hearing, is there were many gators just surrounding because of the overflowing, just waiting, having a feast. And so that's really terrible, to not have food, water, shelter. Everything that you've had has been destroyed. Medical problems galore. And fortunately, a lot of people have come in to provide humanitarian aid, which is wonderful, because it has reached the news worldwide, but still not to the proportion that you would think that people would rush in and say, oh my gosh. So we want to be boots on the ground in July and assist those who are there. Iris Global Ministries is there. Founders and directors, Heidi and Roland Baker, are there, and that's where their base is, their main base, and we're affiliates of Iris Global as well. And they have set up relief centers and stations to be able to rescue the people and help bring restoration.
When you say we, meaning Frontline Ministries, going there July 11th through 30th,
yes.
Who is we? Are churches coming alongside of you? Who can go?
Well, right now, the team is already established. There are 13 of us here, and then we're bringing 2 Brazilian people who are part of Frontline, and they're going to be joining us.
And what kinds of things will you do there?
Well, we're going to start in the south and then go up to the central region in Dondo and see how we can support the efforts and relief efforts that are there. And we're hoping to be able to provide any assistance that they would need for restructuring, rebuilding, distributing food and supplies, and also preach the gospel and help people, because people need Jesus in this time, and we can be the hands and the feet also, but ultimately every person needs to know the love of Jesus. So we want to just hear how he's organizing this for us, and we're partnering with Pastor Jose Novella, who is a ministry partner and trusted friend and comes here every year and is a very close family friend as well. And he's one of the senior leaders of IRIS. And so we've been partnering with him and traveling through the nation for, as I said, since 2003. So we'll be working with him.
How do you begin to rebuild? What's involved in a rebuilding of a country?
Well, really the infrastructure was so hit here because these people, it's a very poor country, and a lot of work and a lot of mission work, humanitarian aid as well, has been going into one of the poorest places on earth. Mozambique has been deemed. So we've seen the infrastructure increase over these many years. So this is really devastating because now the people have no food, no shelter, no clothes, no jobs, nothing. All their crops are wiped out. They're very simple people. So when I was talking to Pastor Jose and others, I said, well, how can we help? What can we do? Can we bring things? Should we bring funds? What's the best way? And Pastor Jose is a spiritual leader. He's a leader of leaders, and he's also, with that, very practical. And he said monies would be the best so that we can go into South Africa, get what we need, and organize the vehicles and such to be able to go into these regions that now the waters have receded to some degree. And we can see if we can start rebuilding. So we buy materials for the walls and such, and provide blankets. I mean, very simple efforts. And they have a base in the central area in Dondo, which is rebuilt already. These people have rebuilt 25 structures, 25 homes, but that's still very small compared to the devastation. And in the north, in Pemba, north of Pemba, which is the top region in this nation, oh my gosh, it's really wretched as well, because still the relief efforts need to be utilized by those who are coming in from outside of Mozambique, utilizing any kind of boats and things there that they can. And so because these coastal regions have been hit, and the people are starving. They have no food or water. So if someone doesn't take it to them, they don't have it. So that's what's going on in the north. We won't be able to go there. I've already spoken with Heidi, and she knows that we'll be in the central and the south. But if anyone wants to partner with us to be able to be the hands and the feet in the area down there, we would just really invite financial help for that purpose. So it all goes to that direction.
How do we do that?
Donating through our ministry. We're a 501c3, Frontline Ministries International, and the website is frontline, one word, -ministries.org/give.
Great.
And there's a donate button there. It's very clear. And then whatever funds would come in, we will take with us or even send them ahead of time. And so the materials can be bought and purchased, and then we'll travel with whatever means we have. And since we are very familiar with the land and the country and the people, Pastor Jose is setting everything up for us, and we have a relationship with so many people over so many years that it's heartbreaking to think that many are gone or the villages have been ravaged like this. But praise the Lord that He's in control.
Absolutely. Every time. I'm glad you ended that way.
Yes.
In a best case scenario, when you were going before the cyclones, what kinds of work were you involved with? Oh,
well, we've been serving all through the country in many provinces, all the provinces except for the one at the very top, the north. We haven't gotten there yet. But we have worked in villages. We've done ministry hands-on, staying in villages for several days at a time or longer. We've done conferences for pastors and leaders. We've worked in children's homes. We've been on the streets. Wherever the need is, we've been asking the Lord, what's the best way to do this? We partner with IRIS, but we're also open to others who are not part of IRIS Ministries or IRIS Global. And so we just have such a love there. And the Lord opened the door for us back in 2003 and then gave us land on the sea. And we look forward to developing that, which will be very close to the region that was hit.
So you actually have a Frontline Ministries home base right there in Mozambique.
We do.
And do you know how it fared through all of
this? No, it wasn't touched. It was far enough away, and we're just beginning the building process there. So
So it's okay.
That's okay. The land is still there on the sea. But it was just so incredible that this touched the central part of Mozambique. And then just within 5-6 weeks, another storm, another cyclone hit the northern part and just sent this country into a tizzy. So there's been a lot of efforts, like I said, globally to come in. But, after so long, I think I'm not sure how many days we're into it now, being here at the end of June. But I do know that people get tired and weary, and sometimes it's off their radar. There are other global things that happen. So this is a really important time for people to rally around. I haven't heard too much, honestly, in Stark County. So we thought, we need to raise awareness of what really is going on in Africa, in this region.
Yeah. And keep it top of mind. To
Pardon?
keep it top of mind, to keep it in front of us.
Yes, and Heidi and Roland are on the news. They're sending out emails and such because they're there, they're in and out. But they're asking for prayer support, saying, please pray for the Lord's mercy in Mozambique, because the devastation is huge. We don't major on that, but boy, when we hear that people are now hungry for Jesus and they're really open to hearing the gospel, and there has been a measure of revival that has been brought to this nation. So the Lord is doing something mighty. So what's going to come through this is going to be massive. It's going to touch all the nations. I really believe it. So what the enemy intended for wickedness and evil, the Lord says, I'm bringing good out of this, and we get to be part of it, and we just are encouraging people to join in.
Go to frontline-ministries.org/give
/ yes.
to be able to participate and give
Yes.
Financially, probably, because then you'll be able to get what it is you need.
Exactly what is needed to be able to be effective while we're there, and any extra monies would be left there with Pastor Jose. Others are donating through Iris, which is great. We're just affiliated, and this is going to give us the opportunity to see the needs directly. And of course, Pastor Jose lives there and assesses and knows exactly where the most devastated places would be, where we can make the most difference in a short amount of time. We'll be there 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So.
Talk about how important it is to make those connections with the ministries that live right there all the time. This is their reality every single day.
Yes. Well, when we first went there in 2003 and got connected in, the main base for Iris Global anyway was down in the south in Maputo, which is the capital. And a few years later, they transitioned up to Pemba, which is the area where the second cyclone hit, north of Pemba. And so there are missionaries in both the south and the north and throughout. And we know people from other ministries as well. And so when we go in and out, we're still closely connected throughout the year, because we work with other nations who are also connected in. So there's a family connection, which is just great, where we are not closed, open, but the family of God comes in together and says, how can we best do what Jesus wants us to do? Remembering that above all else, our hearts need to be made alive, and we need to be recreated, we need to be born again, and we want to go pray for healing for people. When we've been there over all these years, oh my gosh, Susie, so many villages have been transformed. We've planted many churches, many, many healings. I've seen countless miracles up close and personal, blind eyes open and deaf ears open, lame walking, just all kinds of things that the Lord has shown up and done. So when you see lives transformed, oh my gosh, Lord, what else can we do?
It's so real.
It is. Yeah. It's real. So we're going there, like I said, in July.
How did a nice little Jackson Township, Northeast Ohio girl like you found an international outreach ministry?
Oh, my Lord.
Think about that question, because we need to take a short break, and we'll come. I know there's going to be a little more to that answer than we can do in about 2 seconds. So we're going to be back after these words. You're listening to Our Community.